Located here in New York City. Today I wanted to talk to you about perspective. Um, do you feel uncomfortable watching me like this? Do you feel like you're not connecting with me? That's exactly how an immigration officer feels when he or she is reading a petition that is not properly put together. So I wanted you guys to feel exactly what they feel and the frustration that they feel when they're dealing with a case that is not properly put together. So I'm turning around now so that we can speak properly, but I think that it's very, very important for you to understand that the perspective of the reader is extremely important when you're putting together your petition. You looking at my back and you just seeing the back of my head is basically you not connecting with me, you not really understanding what I'm talking about, you not really wanting to understand what I'm talking about. And that's exactly how an immigration officer feels when they're looking at a petition that's poorly put together. They feel frustrated, they feel like they have to put extra time to connect and get to know you. And you know what? They're reading more than one petition a day. So they might utilize those negative feelings and apply it to your case. You want to avoid that. You want to make the reading of your petition and the analysis of your petition and the application of the law to your petition a seamless, pleasant experience. You want the officer to look at your petition and be engaged. You want the officer to look at your petition and understand what you do. You want the officer reading your petition to understand why you stand out and why you are extraordinary. So you need to craft your petition in a way that is simple, succinct, and straight to the point. And a lot of times attorneys and people who choose the DIY route don't do that. So yesterday I had a consultation with somebody for a previously denied case. Now I work with lots of people who have been previously denied. And it is sometimes a matter of the case being put together correctly, but a lot of the times it's really just the attorneys not really understanding the profile of the client. And this case, number one, was poorly put together, and number two, the person who put it together really did not have a strong understanding of the profile of the client. So if the attorney doesn't understand the profile of the client, what makes you think that an immigration officer who has had no relationship with you, doesn't know anything about you, is going to understand your profile, number one, and number two, going to take the time to really learn about your profile? So I really want you guys to think about this concept of perspective, this concept of understanding your audience, knowing who is going to read your petition. The person reading your petition is not an arts expert. The person reading your petition most likely has no experience in the arts. So you really need to cater your case to that type of audience. Something that might seem very obvious to you or very obvious to the attorney is most likely not going to be obvious to the person reviewing your petition. So that uncomfortable feeling that you had when you were staring at my back when I started the video, you want to avoid that feeling. You want to make sure that the reader is connecting with your profile, that the reader understands your profile, and the reader is engaged with your profile so that you can sway the reader and set the tone of approving your case. And the only way to do that is to craft a petition that is tight, succinct, to the point, and that understands the person's profile who is reading. So you want to avoid frustration. You want to avoid that uncomfortable feeling. You want to avoid that disconnect, most importantly, that the officer feels when he or she is reading your petition. The way you want your petition is tight, succinct, to the point, and simple enough that the officer reading your petition, after he or she is done, will be able to talk about you, will be able to understand what you do, and that's what's going to get you an approval on your O-1. I hope this was helpful. I hope that you have a bit more understanding of what an officer is looking for and how an officer is looking at your case. Know your audience, understand the perspective, and treat your petition accordingly. I'll see you guys later today at 4 o'clock. Have a great rest of your day.